Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Sate Sasvam Sinam Saraswati Deve Gauravan Sasvam Vishnu Sasvam Jai Shri Krishna Prabhupada Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna So we are beginning today's session on question and answers, Brahma Jignasa. First question. Question number 1. We have often heard from devotees that Srila Prabhupada's books should be read under guidance. What points should we consider to find out if the guidance is in line with Srila Prabhupada's teaching? The question is that we hear that when we read Srila Prabhupada's books, we should do so under guidance of someone. So what are the points to know that the guidance is correct or is in line with Srila Prabhupada's teaching? All right, so that is true at every point in spiritual life, we need a guide. Everyone needs a guide. Personally, I have a guide also. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Kamikani, I saw your question. We'll answer it. So regarding a guide for spiritual life, what is your aim? Our aim is to understand Srila Prabhupada and to understand his philosophy from his books. So the person who's guiding, I would say first thing is that he should be ISKCON. Okay. Second, he should have understood the mood of Srila Prabhupada and his books, which comes from deep study of Srila Prabhupada's books and hearing from other devotees who are fixed in Prabhupada's teaching. Okay, so he should have heard and he should have read properly. Okay, and therefore, in that way, he would realize what is Srila Prabhupada's deep mission and message. And so, when you have any question, you can ask him. Okay. Now, we definitely need a guide when we are reading, even by reading Prabhupada's books. If we just stay at home and read and think we get it, no, it doesn't work that way, because we can see even today, there are many people reading Prabhupada's books, but a lot of people get different opinions about topics. Should we take Diksha? Is Srila Prabhupada Guru, Srila Prabhupada the Guru of everyone? Do we need to take Diksha? This is a doubt in some people's mind. Plus, we have this idea of feminism. Feminism, man and women are equal around, and this is also, unfortunately, feminist one. So we have to understand properly the teachings, and so we do need a guide, and that is a qualification of the guide, what I gave you. Okay. Because we're talking about a guide, not about a guru. Okay. Eventually, we have to take a guru. In spiritual life, guru is essential because it says that Upatakshanti de Jnanam Jnanina Tattva Darshi. Upatakshanti te Jnanam Jnanina Tattva Darshi. Which means that this means that a self-realized soul can initiate you into knowledge because he himself has seen the truth. So a guru is needed. Eventually, anyone in spiritual life has to take a guru. That's another question altogether. But right now, it's true. It's important that anyone who's reading Prabhupada's books, even hearing from Prabhupada, we should be guided by someone who's also on that path properly. Okay. So, the person who asked this question, Vivek, any other comment about this, or is it okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay. All right. I got a comment that my sound isn't so clear. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's feeble.
It's feeble, huh?
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm continuing to the second question. Second question is, if my phone dies and I wake up late because the alarm didn't ring, then should I perform Mangal Arati anyway and then chant, or should I directly start chanting my rounds? Mangal Arati is written, the song we sing is by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's called Shri Guru Vashtak, 8 verses glorifying the Guru. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur wrote that song, and he also said that it should be sung before sunrise. And if you sing it every day before sunrise, then we'll get liberation, he says. That means Brahma Muhurta. So that's the best time. Supposing we are late and we wake up after Mangal Arati, the timing, I would anyway sing it, because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's idea was that we sing and meditate on the meanings of the words, of the verses. So you have to know the meanings, each of the 8 verses. And if you do that, it's an auspicious start to the day. So anyway, you can do that. Even if you wake up late, you can sing the song and meditate on that meaning. But the best is if you can wake up on time. How to do that? Well, yeah, you can practice, okay, doing that. So that's okay. You should sing Mangal Arati, but you can make it very short because of your time. No need to extend. You can sing the song, Prabhupada, Pranam Mantra, and few times Hare Krishna and end it. Normally we'll sing Hare Krishna longer. You can do it shorter. Okay, I'm just going to move to next questions. But if at any time any question is not properly answered, you can just tell me. So I'll stop. We'll go over it again. Okay, you can unmute. Okay, question 2. I made a timetable to follow so that I don't have time for Prajalpa, but instead of properly following it, I often find myself wasting my time on random funny videos about orchestral music. One example, playing violin for Kangaroos. I feel bad that this human form is so rare, I might not even have much time left, and that I could be reading and hearing instead, but my anarthas keep pulling me down. How do I overcome this? So yeah, that the thing is, because we are not pure souls, fully gotten the taste of Krishna consciousness, whatever allurements are there, they can trap us. And so for that reason, I recommend to some people, for example, I'm on Facebook, but I really avoid, putting on my phone only for preaching sometimes. I put it on to answer a question or to post an article or to someone tells me to reply to something. All right. So at that time I enter Facebook. Otherwise, yeah, we have to be careful. Don't go to your phone. What I do when I do chanting, I leave my phone down and I just go to the terrace somewhere else. I just keep phone far away, So now you're talking about that you made a timetable. All right. Now this you only have to practice. You'll not follow, then you have to again do it. Then you'll not follow, keep practicing and you'll come to that point. But my advice is, for example, if you're in your timetable, you say to read or chant or whatever, so you keep your phone or computer far, or best is you just leave the room, go somewhere else and tell yourself, I'm going to not leave this place till I finish chanting. And you just have to practice following your timetable. What else can we say? It's good that you have a timetable. That's good. Because if you apportion your time, then you can get much more done. Okay. Yes, human form is rare, so I might not have much time left. That's true. That's true. We have limited time. We think we have time. We think I have whole life. I can practice. No, it's not like that. We don't understand. Even all of you, you can just remember when you were 3 or 4 or 5 years old. It's not so long ago. It seems like just yesterday. And if you blink again, next, you'll be 50, 60. Time will go very fast. We have to use our time carefully. Okay. Ayur harati vaipung sam udyan aschantayan asau soyam eva yat kshananita uttama shloka vartai. The sun on rising and setting takes everyone's time away, except for one who is engaged in uttama shloka vartai, in worship of uttama shloka. That means Krishna. Yeah. So conclusion is that keep practicing to follow your timetable, but when you're doing any sadhana, any serious thing, keep your phone and computer far, or you go far away. That's the best thing. Don't stay in the room. Even when I was in college, our teacher advised us, don't study in your room, because the bed is right there and you'll end up sleeping. Okay, I think I answered that. All right. If not, you can tell me. Otherwise, I'll move to question 3. Should I start reading Prabhupada's small books once I finish Bhagavad Gita, or should I go in some other order? Please suggest. So before reading Bhagavad Gita, we suggest that people read at least 2 or 3 small books of Prabhupada, and then Science of Self-Realization, and then we tell them to read Bhagavad Gita. So I'm not sure, if you could just tell me, have you done that? Have you read at least 2 or 3 small books? I can't hear you. I wonder if anyone else can. Oh, I can't hear you at all.
Yeah, we can hear you.
No, Hans. I can't hear Hans. Oh, okay. I think you better type it out. Something went wrong when I was adjusting my mic. Okay, sorry. All right. You can just type out, did you read Science of Self-Realization and the Prabhupada small books? What happened? Okay. Then if you didn't, then while you're reading Bhagavad Gita, you can read small books and Science of Self-Realization. Okay. Yeah, you're saying that you started with Bhagavad Gita and reading Science of Self-Realization in parallel. Okay, you can do that. Okay, then you stopped SSR. No, you read Science of Self-Realization. It will really help you to get Bhagavad Gita. Read that, and you can read at least 2 or 3 small books after reading Science of Self-Realization. Many books in parallel. Yeah, you just read Bhagavad Gita and one other book, Science of Self-Realization. And when you finish, then small books in parallel. That's okay, because even, for example, me, when I go on journeys, I'll take a small book. And recently I had gone to Mayapur, so I took a small book, Rajavidya, and I just read that, because in that way you can finish small books like that. But it's good to read the small books. It's a good idea. It will help you. Okay. So that's the thing. Okay. So when you finish Bhagavad Gita, yes, you can. What you do then you can finish off Science of Self-Realization and 2 or 3 small books. All right. Then after Bhagavad Gita, I would suggest. Okay, and should I go into some other order? Yeah, you finish the small books off, okay? And then you can also read Nectar of Devotion, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and Krishna book, okay? You can read these 3 books. Before reading Bhagavad Gita again, and then you can read Bhagavad Gita again when you finish those books, then Srimad Bhagavatam, right? It's good. You're paying attention to your reading. All right. So that is answer. In case there's anything more, you can just tell me. Otherwise, I'll move to the next one. Okay, question 4. Even if I disable and uninstall apps like YouTube and Instagram from my phone to avoid distractions, I attend my school's online classes on laptop and anyway get distracted. Then what to do in such a case? You attend your school's online classes on laptop, so get distracted. I want to clarify your question, but I cannot hear your voice. All right, so what I wanted to ask you is, you're talking about distraction, but the time when you're reading or chanting, is your class going on? It shouldn't be going on. That's the thing. Okay, I just want to see your mic is unmuted, but I can't hear you, so we have to type it. Okay, so I'm not sure about this point. You said that you get distracted because of online classes, but at the time you're studying, then at that time better not to read or chant. Okay, or maybe those applications distract you. I'm not sure about the question. All right. So what I'll do is maybe move to the next one until you just clarify this point that you can type it on the chat. That why are you saying that you get distracted by your computer? When the time you're reading or chanting, you should not be near the computer at all, actually. All right. Can clarify that. Yeah, you can just phone me. Give me a phone call. Because we can't. I don't know why it's not working. Give me a quick call. Okay. And then we look at that. And then Yamikani has a question after this. And I'll wait for Hans's call now. He's going to, yeah. Okay, he's calling. Where's the speaker? Hare Krishna. Yes, Hans. Oh, this is strange. Complete blackout. I can't hear you even on the phone. What's going on? This is on speaker. Hare Krishna. Okay, call back. Meanwhile, others can think of questions while we're going. You may come up with something. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, am I audible?
I can hear you, yes. So, question is that you said you get distracted because you have courses. Just elaborate online.
Yeah. The distraction part was about, wait a second, I have to open my headphone, otherwise there's a problem. Also, the distraction was that while studying, I have to anyway access my laptop, then I'm getting exposed to Instagram and YouTube. They're all there on my Chrome.
Yeah.
So I've uninstalled them so that they don't affect my consciousness, because I may see certain photo or something, and then my mind will again get sedated. So that's why I had uninstalled them. But again, when I'm attending these classes, then I'm getting contact with them. And also there is a problem that if I waste my time while I'm studying, then that will hamper my entire schedule, and in that way my sleep schedule will also get hampered, and this will indirectly affect bhakti.
Okay,
that's why I was asked.
Okay, I got the point. Okay.
Yes.
Just stay online. I'm going to answer, but I'll speak now. So the problem is that getting distracted because of applications on the phone and the computer. Even though he removed it, but when he starts studying, then again he looks at all these things. Okay, so I will suggest one thing, that we have to get a nice Krishna conscious dose experience when we wake up. When we wake up, we chant. You can even read one verse of Bhagavad Gita, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes read. Hear some shlokas, Prabhupada, some people who chant shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Even that you have to be careful who is you here, I can tell you. Now, if you do that, right in the morning, you get a nice dose of Krishna consciousness. You get an experience, and then throughout the day, you're more able to control, okay? So we do that. That's important, especially in ashram. So what we do is, in the morning, we have a Mangal Arati, but at the same time, I read one verse of Bhagavad Gita. I try to memorize one verse and meditate on it. And at the same time, I also would read some 20 minutes before starting my work. Then in the course of the day, because you came to a platform of Krishna consciousness, it's much easier to control. Okay, so I could recommend that and just practice. Okay, because basically, what is the point? Why do we go for all these things? Because we are trying to find some kind of happiness. We're looking for a rush, happiness. When we just see a video or hear something or see some picture that makes us happy. So that happiness comes in the morning if you try to wake up early and get a good, chant your rounds nicely, or read a book, or run a verse, or hear some Bhagavad Gita chanting, chapter 1, chapter 2, people chant the Sanskrit verses. In that way, it will put you in a consciousness where you will less likely to stray off. Okay, that's the important point. And how to avoid being distracted by these applications? One important way is you have to get deeper realization of Krishna consciousness. That we hear, we read, and we have to understand what is Krishna consciousness and how important it is. And the more we get deeper realization of Krishna consciousness, and at that point, then we'll be more fixed. Otherwise, we are convinced that we are thinking that I'll be happy if I watch this video or see that. Gradually, we have to turn our senses away from all these material things. Of course, everyone is at a different level, but you'll find this point, and I found it also, that the more people get deeper experience. Okay, so for that, the more you read and chant, and it will change you. So these are the two things. Okay, one is a deeper experience of Krishna consciousness earlier in the morning when you wake up. That will please change your consciousness for the day. Okay, chanting, reading, hearing verses. And second is if you come further in Krishna consciousness in a deeper way, then at that point you'll be able to have a deeper experience. So you just be put off, but you will not go for those things. All right, so that's the answer for that. Question 4. All right, here we have last question, and meanwhile, if anyone has any further question, you can just type it in the chat while we're speaking. So Yamikani sent a picture, and all of you can see it in the group. Okay, in the group he posted a picture of Om, Omkar. Then the question is that I wanted to know the meaning of the sign on the above picture. I have seen it so many times. Yes, Omkar. Now in Bhagavad Gita, they speak about Om, also known as Pranav. The sound Om is made up of 3 letters. A, O, M. It's 3 letters, and it's a sound. And this sound vibration, first of all, it contains the totality of all sound inside. Okay, and second is, it's a spiritual vibration. It's a representation of Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Omkara Sarva Vedeshu. In all the Vedas, Om is there. So he says, that is me. Krishna says in Gita, in 2 or 3 places, I am Om. All right, but I'll further elaborate on one thing, that he says he's Om, but this is the impersonal representation of Krishna. The personal representation, sound of Krishna, is the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And this that sound is the personal representation of Krishna, his personal form. Om is in the Hare Krishna mantra. Srila Prabhupada said once in a lecture, when we are chanting Hare Krishna, we don't have to chant Om. But just to explain you that this sound Om, many people chant it to get self-realization. Just by chanting, they get self-realized. But there's a whole procedure. It's not that I just sit and chant it. You have to go through a certain lifestyle. Where do you sit? And there's a whole way of doing that. So Om is a spiritual vibration for self-realization. It come to be now taken as a symbol for Hinduism. You will see it commonly. People put it. It is sacred. To look at it, to hear it, it's sacred, definitely. Okay. But again, this is impersonalistic school. And in the personalistic school, the Hare Krishna mantra, and not only Hare Krishna, then we have Sri Krishna Sharanamama, Vallabh Sampradaya, and then Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, which is what Dhruv Maharaj chanted. So there are different mantras for the personal form of God. Okay, so that is Om, basically. A representation of Krishna, but also taken now to be a symbol for Hinduism. Okay, all right. Any other question? I don't, looks like nothing there on the chat.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Is it the Om, the one which is chanted by yogis in the Himalayas?
Yeah. Yeah, this is chanted by yogis. It's for self-realization, because the sound is spiritual. So when we chant the sound, it spiritualizes us. That's a fact. It puts us on the spiritual platform, but not, it puts us on the Brahman platform. So Brahman, which means that we come out of the material platform, we come to the spiritual platform, and we realize that I am a soul. But we don't realize I'm a servant of God. For that, we have to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And Hare Krishna mantra has Om, because by chanting Hare Krishna, we realize I'm a soul, I'm spiritual. Then we realize also I'm a servant of God. But Om, it is also sacred. It is in the Vedas. They chant it. So they chant it. Rishis, so many munis chant it. There's a way to do it. It's not that we just sit and chant Om like that. But we have to follow a certain line. You can read chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita. That will give you Dhyana Yoga. It tells you what is the process of chanting. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, so very nice. I hope, there's no other question. Okay, so all of you, I hope you're nicely engaged in reading, chanting. Okay, and any obstacles to bhakti you try to overcome, you can contact me, any issues. And regularly attend the classes, and gradually we get purified. Okay, so we'll stop here. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai.